Hey, go and get it down. Go and get it down right down there. Hey, oh, hey.
What is up, Shakers and Groovers? Shit Show Disco here. Now today I am in the studio with Jessie or DJ Little J. How are you, Jess?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, so good. Except for this extremely humid weather, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's a bit yuck.
I thought I'd wear a t-shirt to suit the weather.
Yeah, it's very, hopefully I'll be able to hear you over your shirt.
That's one. That's one.
Oh dear.
Now, I've known Jessie for a few years now. I only knew her as DJ extraordinaire, DJ Little J. And then over time, I kind of saw that there was a lot more to it, a lot more live aspect with your groups for functions and events. And then during COVID, you kind of banded together a little cheeky little country outfit called Hinterland.
That is right. Yes, I like to say, pretty good at a lot of things. Master of none, but yeah.
I don't know.
What is it they say? You like to have your finger in many pies.
Yeah, finger in many pies. So you've got Hinterland, DJing,
solo,
killing it as a mother.
Daisy Dukes. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, Daisy Dukes. Sorry,
yeah. I'm also mother of 2 young children. Pretty shit at the housework. That's where
Papa comes in.
Pretty much. Yeah. So that's where it ends up lacking. But no one pays me to do any housework.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of like,
Yeah. Well,
let that slide.
Now, we've known each other for a few years through Together Agency, mainly through our work and seeing each other at various events or goings on. Now, for those out there that don't know you, can you give them a little bit of a spin on who you are and what you do?
That is a hard thing. Like it is a lot. So I have been playing guitar and singing since I was a kid. Professionally as soon as I could when I turned 18. So I was doing that for many, many years. I actually wrote a lot of music when I was younger and recorded a couple of albums when I was like between 18 and 21 or something like that. And to like varying degrees of success in the country music world. After a while kind of got not even bored with it, but just kind of annoyed with it. Just kind of like it's such a game, and I just don't like to play the game, and I don't like to kiss ass, and I don't like, it's just, so especially in the country music scene, it's very old.
So it's very
school,
clicky, isn't it?
Very
a bit
clicky.
Smaller, so everyone knows each other.
Yeah, and it's very much like, it doesn't matter how good something is that you put out, it's got to be done through such and such and recorded with such and such and blah, blah, blah. So it's not actually about the quality a lot of the time. It's more about who you know and who you're working with and stuff like that. And I just kind of resented that.
Because I definitely get off you that you're very much like I don't take shit.
Yeah, very much so.
You.
So, but I was also young and stupid as well. And I was just like, didn't want to play the game. So I was just like, nah, I'm going to take some time off. And I didn't write for years and years and years. And, during that time, got married, bought a couple of houses, had kids, and did the whole domestic thing. However, I was still playing, just in cover bands and stuff like that. So playing cover bands, singing cover bands, and just didn't write for years and years and years. And then, after a few years, someone offered to teach me how to DJ because I had to get surgery on my vocal cords, and it meant that I wasn't going to be able to sing for a couple of months, and that was my bread and butter. So I was like, shit. We allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, honey.
Yeah, okay, sweet. Sweet.
As long as your kids aren't watching at home,
no, my kids don't give a shit. They're not going to watch it. I legit have great video clips come up on TV. I'm like, Mummy's on TV, and they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, they don't care.
Well, Vegemite toast now.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, can we put on ABC Kids? Like, fuck this shit, Mum. No, my kids don't say fuck this shit. They will very soon. The way I'm going. So anyway, so I was having surgery on my vocal cords, and I was like, shit, how am I going to make money for those few months? And someone offered to teach me how to DJ at the Grand Hotel.
Yes.
Woo!
Shout out to the Grand.
Shout out to the Grand.
Like the only place to go to in between, say, from Hope Island to Southport.
And it is long. Look, it has a bad rep, I guess, but I don't know. I always had a good time there.
Yeah.
And so when I learned how to DJ there, they didn't actually have CDJs. They had a mixer, and it was hooked up to nightlife.
Yes.
But you couldn't you know, it was more just about teaching me how to read the crowd.
Yes.
Which is stuff that I already knew.
Which is
as
like 80% of DJing.
Well, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yes. But in terms of like mixing songs together, I was very much like, you couldn't really do it with nightlife.
Yeah.
Like, or I was taught like, okay, cool. So like find out when the vocals come in for song B and then like minus that from song A and press play there. So they would just play over the top of each other for say 20 seconds until the vocals
So it was
came
more
in.
maths than anything.
It was dreadful, but you know, it was something. Like I never got taught any EQ stuff or anything. But look, no one cared.
Look at me now.
No one cared. But yeah, it was one of those things I was like, I actually kind of enjoy this. Like, so then I like went out and bought a set of decks and everything, like a controller, and actually worked out how to do it. And yeah, so then I started doing that at the same time. So I would be DJing and playing and singing and all sorts of whatever would make me money, really.
Yes.
But I did really enjoy it. Like there was a passion for it as well. But yeah, so now I tend to specialize more now in your like large scale events, private events and stuff like that. That's right. That is exactly right. Rather than your clubs and stuff like that, because again, it's not particularly compatible with my lifestyle as a mum.
100%.
Because there were so many times when I would play like a club set, get home at 3 a.m. or something, and the kids are up at like 6. So I was just like, And you know, when you're only getting paid, you know, under $100 an hour or whatever, like,
and it all rolls into each other, and it just makes everything a lot.
Yeah, that's right. So I was like, nah, I got to make some changes. But yeah, so then so that's what I was doing for a while, building up a good, you know, reputation and good relationships within just the events and, you know, cover scene in the industry and stuff like that. And then a couple of years ago, I just felt the bug again for writing.
Yeah, got the itch.
Yeah, I was like, ooh. And literally I was like, I wonder if I can still do this. Like that was the kickoff for me. It wasn't even like, I was just like, I wonder if I even can.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of started doing it and sending it to this guy, a mate of mine who's a producer, a really good producer. And I was like, is this music? Like, is this a thing?
Do
and
I
he's
still
like,
have it?
yeah, pretty much. And I trusted him, and he was like, yeah, this is it. Like, he's like, this is almost, you know, you would tweak it a bit more, but this is it. And I was like, oh, okay, so I still know how to do it.
Yeah.
And then a girlfriend of mine, Taylor Moss, who's a country music singer, she asked if I would co-write with her, and so I did. And yeah, the song that we wrote, like, she went and recorded it a couple of months later and put it out as her next single.
Yes.
Did really, really well. Got like number 2 on iTunes or something.
Ooh-wee.
That
was a nice little note there. See,
yeah. Never clock off. But yeah, so, and then I was like, oh, okay. And so got back into it, wrote a couple more songs for her. She's actually just dropped one a couple of weeks ago called Ain't No Girly Girl.
Yeah, nice.
Again, went to number 4 on the all genres charts.
Oh,
So she
wow.
like beat like Justin Bieber and like Billie Eilish for like a day, but you know, it was massive.
Still a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, even a minute, it was like screenshot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's doing really, really well, this one. And yeah, so then last year, my longtime friends and collaborators, Rachel and Rob Bostock. Rachel is also in the Daisy Dukes with me, which is one of my cover band projects.
Which you guys have played a lot of pretty big shows. Like
Pretty
you played
big
the Tamworths
shows.
and stuff.
Yeah. We've done the Tamworth, we've done Gimpy Music Master, and these are just as a cover band, you know.
But still big, like...
Big stuff. Yeah,
I
totally.
love the cover bands out there. They're all just want to know
Cover
songs.
band, exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, we already know all these songs, so that's fine. But we enjoyed it, you know, and it was while I wasn't writing, and she wasn't really writing much either, so it was a nice outlet.
So I saw some good photos of you and, was it not John...
Jimmy Barnes?
Yeah, Jimmy Barnes, yeah.
Yeah, so me, Rachel, and Rob, before we were actually Hinterland, this was when we were the Daisy Dukes, but Rob just tagged along and played bass with us. We opened for Jimmy Barnes and Troy Casadale
Massive.
last year. Massive. Which was really cool. And it was after that tour that Rob was like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like,
we got something.
We got something. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's actually make some music together. And I was like, oh yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. And then, then this year we've gone, you know, balls to the wall.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. It's really funny to just hear the kind of progression from your...
I tried to do like a real short version
No.
but there's a lot of angles.
Yeah, no, definitely.
A lot of tangents.
So, obviously you've spoken about when you started writing songs when you were younger.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first picked up an instrument?
I think I was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's a photo of me. My dad gave me like this little tiny red, it's like a mini
ukulele
Stratocaster.
guitar?
No, it looks like a Strat, but it's
wow.
like this big. It's so tiny and so cute. And that was my first guitar. And I think I must have started lessons when I was 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
I should be a lot better, but I did stop for a while. I sort of lost the vibe for it for a few years, but then I picked it up again in my teen years, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely
I think when I was like,
understand.
I could make money with this. Yes,
Yeah.
I will.
But also, you had a lot of other things going on.
Oh yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. Had life and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be like the next Britney Spears or something. She was the big deal
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
By the way.
Don't show our age. Do not.
No, sorry. Oh, the next Ariana Grande.
Now, how old do you think you were when you would have had your first real performance?
Oh, that's a good question. My dad used to bring me up at all his gigs.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and stuff like that. So I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably too hard a question. Because he would bring me up and get me to sing a song or play a song or something, even just like an instrumental on the guitar. I was probably rubbish. I was probably really
Yeah,
terrible.
but it's all part of the fun.
Yeah. But they're just like, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
That's his daughter. No one cares. But I really can't remember.
No, that's
I
all right.
remember my first paid gig.
Yeah. What was your first paid gig?
I was 18 finally, and I had been asked. There was like a local duo in Coffs Harbour, my hometown. And it was just like these two like hippie dudes. One of them was a really nice dude actually, and I think it was like set up because my mum knew him, and it was like his little side gig was like, oh yeah, I'm in this little acousticy duo. We play all this Jack Johnson-y whatever type stuff.
Yeah, lovely.
And my mum had basically asked him, oh, you should get Jessie up to sing some songs. And I had no idea what I was doing. And I was so nervous. I'd been on stage a lot and I'd performed a lot, but it was my first gig. I think they probably gave me $50 or something. And I don't even remember what I did, but I just remember being super, super, super nervous.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, I booked a solo show at the Coffs Hotel. And oh man,
I used to go down and stay at the Nautilus.
Oh yeah, I used to work at the Nautilus.
Yeah,
that was I worked in the restaurant there.
We spent every New Year's Eve there for 2 or 3 years.
Nautilus.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, but that's when it was I would have been 4.
Oh right. I thought you meant it went off.
No,
and I'm
no.
Family time.
Family time.
Yeah. I worked there in the restaurant for a year or something when I was 18.
Yeah.
Being a slave.
Yeah, that's how it is. So your first paid gig was about 18 years old.
Something like that. Yeah, I think
nice.
so.
Now, like you said, your dad used to bring you up on stage a lot. Is that where a lot of your musical talents come from? Or?
Well, people say that. People say that to me all the time, that, it's in your blood. It's when you've got a musician parent, a lot of credit gets given to them for just producing you. But I tend to disagree.
Yeah.
Because I've got 2 sisters and a brother who aren't musical at all.
Yeah.
The difference is I learned how to play and I practice my ass off.
Yeah.
And it's even happening to me now because my oldest daughter plays the drums.
I've seen
and
those.
she's kick-ass, right? But she's not kick-ass because I'm her mum. She's kick-ass because she's practicing and she's
Yes.
being taught. And so people are saying to me, oh, well, of course it's in her genes, it's in her blood. And I'm like, well, I mean, when she first picked up the sticks and banged around, she didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
So I get a little annoyed when people do attribute your talents and your achievements to, oh, well, you're related to somebody who's done well. So that's one of the things that irks me a little bit. I mean, sure, I would say being exposed to the environment is probably an attributing factor because you're like, oh, yeah, cool, so this could be a living, But, my mum was a real estate agent and I have no, crazy
urge to sell
underlying
houses.
urge to sell your house, So that's...
I thought I saw you looking at it when you came in.
Oh, yeah, I
You
was
were
valuing it. No, I don't give a shit. I'm it's just... Yeah, it's one of those things. It definitely exposes you to the environment, and I guess you get an idea in your head. Oh yeah, this is where it could be, but you still have to work up.
I completely agree. I had this conversation with a friend about Will Smith and his son, and he's like, "If I was Will Smith's son, I could do exactly what he's done." I was like, "Come on, guys!
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, obviously you've got DJ Lil J as your DJ name.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just like, oh, this is easy, I like it, it's groovy?
It was actually really hard to come up with. It's such a shit thing to have to do to like come
Well, to
up
name yourself.
to name yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, because you feel like such a tosser.
Yes.
It's like you got to give yourself like your own, like a nickname.
Yes.
And you feel like a loser. But it does catch on eventually. I did used to get called Little J a little bit in like early high school.
Yeah.
Not much though. I wouldn't say it caught on. Like I wouldn't say it was like a big thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then I don't know, when I sort of started leaning towards hip hop for DJing, it felt sort of felt right. You know, and I was like, well, do I go with like the Lil? You know,
Yeah,
like,
like-
I'm not black enough for that. So I was like, no, we'll be Little J.
Little J. Oh, lovely.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just what you do when you don't have a cool. See, like Jack will. That's a cool name.
Jack.
That's a cool
But I
name.
still changed it.
I know.
I've honestly been through like 3
Why
DJ
shit
names.
shirt disco?
Well,
Because
obviously
you have to be censored everywhere.
just shows how
Badass.
badass.
Oh, fuck the police.
No, pretty much I just did it because I wanted to be someone completely else for my
Yeah.
DJ name.
Yeah. You want
I-
to have like an alter ego that you
Yeah.
can switch
And I just
into.
figured like, I'm trying to remember why I did it. I honestly have no idea. I think it just came to me and I was with friends and I was just like, everyone always wears like real yuck shirts out everywhere because it's like trendy.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
shit show disco is sick. And then
It is. It does sound cool.
and I wanted to have something that was more of a brand, not just like a person.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of my
I like
thoughts
that.
behind it. Now, obviously your group's called Hinterland.
Yes.
Now, is that because you're trying to really represent, I feel like, an area that isn't represented?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that, you know, good segue, but with every project I've ever had, the worst part is trying to come up with a name.
Yeah.
Like you can have everything, but when you've got to come up with a name and it's going to represent your brand and everything. And I've seen it happen with like bands and stuff before, where they just agonize about it and you can't decide on anything, and it's just, you know, it makes life really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And once you've locked into, and when you really actually strip it back and look at a lot of band names, they're all actually kind of shit, but
Look
you've
at
heard
Peking
them a
Duck.
million times.
Pete, like,
Just like Coldplay,
Yeah.
Silverchair,
yes.
Powderfinger, like they're
Yeah.
just two words that
when
are
you
stuck.
say them like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
but you've heard them a zillion times, so you're like, yeah, Powderfinger, like, well,
Yeah.
yeah. So we were like, all right, let's not sort of agonize about it too much. But the exact night that Rachel and Rob, like when we sort of formed the band, where we were like, yeah, let's do it. We came up with Hinterland that night.
Yeah.
Like it was just so easy.
I really like it. I think it's
Well,
great.
For us, it was. So first of all, because we were like, oh, we've got such a rich history between us. And even like, we don't even realize how much our paths would have actually crossed when we were younger. We didn't even meet until I was like late teens, but my dad had a huge part of like their music career when they were younger and
Yeah.
all sorts of shit. And it just keeps coming. And like when I was born, we lived like 2 streets away from the Mostocks. So,
Okay.
and I mean, I didn't know that, so I was just born. But yeah, it's just crazy. But that was our
For
thing.
those out there that don't know what that is, could
Yes. Don't know what is.
you say the Mostocks?
Oh, the Bostocks.
Bostocks,
The
yeah.
Bostocks. Rachel and Rob Bostock.
Oh, okay, there
That's
you go.
their yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a band as well called the Bostocks that they were a part of.
A large country outfit.
Large country
Yes.
outfit. Yes. So they were my BFFs before we'd even met.
Yeah.
And now we've been working together for like 15 years. Like it's awesome. But
Yeah.
so when we were coming up with the name, it was very much like, oh, like what's something that we have in common that like really encapsulates our story.
Yes.
And that we all like. And we didn't want something or other. We just want one cool word.
Yeah.
Like, and we were like, well, we all grew up in the hinterland and we all like, you know, still kind of live in, well, they live in Helensvale, but they used to be the hinterland.
Yeah. It just starts with a H.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I definitely live in the hinterland, and it's a kind of lifestyle as well. And I guess for us, what we really liked was that the hinterland is often overlooked, I guess, in terms of, oh, you got your city and your country and
Yes.
Hinterland's right in the middle. And for us, our music is a little bit country, a little bit city. So we're like, it's that blend,
That's
is right.
sick. That's
See,
so
right?
good, yeah.
So our music is a little bit, it's not your typical country. It's definitely got like a rock, pop
Yeah.
influence to it. So that's why we were like, yep, chuck it there in the middle.
Yeah.
And then it also became the inspiration for our first song too.
Yeah. No, I really loved it. Like I said, I think it's a great name for your project because it really represents everyone.
It has so many facets to it. So we were very happy with that. I can't even remember how it came up. I think we were just Googling words, but we were like, this is a good one.
No, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you, do you think, when you first remember kind of hearing music and it being around you?
Oh, I was a baby. There's photos of me, like I've got photos of me, like it's my dad off to a gig and it's just guitar cases and an amp and then there's me in a capsule. I don't remember that, but I'm like, I assume that's me. But yeah, and apparently I used to get dragged along to gigs in a capsule, tiny baby, and just like probably left backstage.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it was.
Just left.
It was a different time.
Yeah,
That was
totally,
normal.
totally. I mean, at least I wasn't left in the car, like
Yeah.
really. And yeah, like in a capsule backstage. Apparently, I would sleep through it.
Yeah.
The noise and everything like that, and you know, it's just always been part of life, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've got an earliest memory, but
Yes.
yeah, it's just been one of those things that I grew up that way.
Yeah.
So when people like aren't musical, I'm like, oh, like it's weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, not weird, but
No,
I'm just
it's
like,
different.
oh, where's all the amps? Like, where do you hang your guitars? Like, you know?
It's even like my dad talks about how he'd take my sister to cricket when she was like 9 months old in a capsule and he'd go out to bat and she'd be under a tree.
Yeah.
Like, it was just
Well,
different.
that was thoughtful of him to put her under the tree.
Well, then he actually didn't get out, so he batted for about 4 hours and the sun moved. And then he had to take her home to his wife, sunburn. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Nah, man, that's fine. That is fine. I mean, she was fine.
Yeah, she was all good. She's still around.
Back then, we didn't know how bad the sun was.
No.
We're like, oh, baby's got a tan.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Baby's got a tan.
She's summer ready.
Oh, so good. Now, you've spoken about obviously playing hip hop when you're DJing. You've got all the country stuff. What would you listen to growing up?
Oh my god, literally everything.
Yeah.
Everything. That's what's so funny is that my music taste is just so weird.
Yeah.
But I guess that's, you know, contributed to, I guess, my broad understanding of music and stuff like that. But like, man, I loved like Shania Twain and the Dixie Chicks. But at the same time, I also loved the Spice Girls and, you know, Britney Spears, as we said before, Pink. Loved Pink, loved Kelly Clarkson. But at the same time,
Kelly Clarkson had so many bangers.
oh, her Breakaway album, like, oh, my fave.
Yeah.
And I'd say that like your Kelly Clarkson and your Pink and your Shania Twain is probably my main, like when I write now, that's probably mainly molded my
All
style.
those strong women and
Yeah, well, it's funny now, like if you listen back to songs that, you know, in the early 2000s by your Kelly Clarkson and your Pink and stuff like that, that stuff is what country music kind of sounds like now.
okay, yeah.
Because it's still got guitars and stuff in it, you know. Pink puts out a single now, it doesn't have any guitars in it. And it's just, yeah, it's very much like, oh, this would actually get classified a certain way now that it didn't back then.
Yes.
So, but at the same time, I also loved like friggin' Biggie and Tupac, and which was stupid because I was so young, but I was like, fuck yeah, California love. Like,
That's such a diverse.
I know. It's so random, and my dad hated it when I put on, oh, listen to all the black music. Actually, he was a little bit inappropriate, and he didn't call it black music. He called it M-word music.
Oh, damn.
But hey, different time.
Different time.
But yeah, I just kind of liked everything.
That's good. Well, it shows now because it obviously helps with your songwriting.
I
too.
even had like, I know every word to like a System of a Down album, and liked Metallica.
Yeah.
I just liked everything.
Yeah.
But then it was like Dire Straits as well. Michael Jackson, obviously.
Just the whole book.
Just everything.
No wonder you've got so many good covers when he's playing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. When we play, like we'll play like anything from like Avicii to, you know, the Eagles and just anything. I'm
So
just
for anyone
like,
out there looking,
yeah, we're just like, yeah. If for me, I'm just like, if it's a good song, I'm gonna like
and
it.
you guys will put your twang on it.
Yeah, and I just don't really, I don't care about what genre it is. It's so easy. Like that was one thing I hated actually back when I was doing the solo work was you would like put out a song or something and people would be like, oh, but how do we market this? What pigeonhole does it? Are you trying to be like a new Taylor Swift or are you trying to be this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just think it sounds good. So here it is. Like, you know, you don't have to be, oh, I'm the next Taylor Swift. Can't you just be like, I'm the first Jesse Emanuel. Like,
Yeah.
can't I just start it on, you know?
Yeah.
So that was something I really resented, was that back in the day, from what I've heard anyway, in like your 50s and your 60s and stuff, it was all about breaking new ground. It was like, oh, you know, we want that fresh sound. We don't want it to sound like anything else, da-da-da-da. And it was all about introducing a new sound to the world.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's, oh, this doesn't really sound like anything. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to take the risk and try to market it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, even in the Far Out, now in the Queen movie,
Yeah.
where they go and they show Bohemian Rhapsody, and the guy's like, we can't do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's turned into one of the largest songs in the history of the world.
Yeah, totally.
just-
And you got to take risks with music,
Yeah.
because otherwise, I mean, that's why so often so much shit sounds the same.
Yes.
And it's like, it's in any genre. It's not just country. It's not just pop. It's just because people go, oh, this formula works.
Yeah.
Like, how many songs are there now that are trying to be the next Old Town Road? You know, and it's
Yeah.
so obvious. It's like, you know, and every now and then you'll strike it, but you know, Old Town Road was massive for
Yeah.
a reason.
Yeah.
It's because nothing sounded like that at the time. Now everything does. So, well, it
true.
sounds like a shittier version of it.
Yeah.
But
It all just keeps getting watered down.
yeah, kind of. It's like, and you have to have that magical formula of this is so exciting and new. It's going to cross genres. It's going to cross age groups and stuff like that. That was the thing with Old Town Road. It was like hip hop and stuff. It doesn't really swear.
Yeah.
Does say boobies, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We can say boobies.
You
Like,
can say
we can
boobies.
say boobies. Like, you can't understand him anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's short. It's sweet. It's well produced, surprisingly. And then you chuck bloody Billy Ray Cyrus on
Yeah.
it. Ah,
Roll
chef's
it up,
kiss.
throw it in a ball.
Oh, done.
Now,
Done.
Can you remember the first record or CD that you purchased or you bought
Yes,
yourself?
I can.
Yes.
I well, I didn't buy it myself, but I have, like, I was too young to
Yeah,
buy shit. But I must have been about 8, I guess. And I desperately wanted the Spice Girls album.
Yeah.
All my friends had the
Like
Spice Girls album.
the
The wannabe.
The album.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want. Yeah, the album, right? And I wanted it. And my dad had bought me a tape player.
Yes.
Like, remember, what are they called? A Walkman.
Yeah.
Walkman?
Yeah.
Was that a tape
like
as well?
Like an anti-shock Walkman or something like
Yeah,
that?
no, it wasn't a CD one, though. It was a cassette.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, it was a tape player. Cassette tape. And, yeah, he bought it for me, and I didn't have any tapes for it. So I was like, well, thanks, Dad. But, and he's like, now, I'll buy you a tape. What album, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I really want the Spice Girls. And my dad's like, oh, you're not going to listen to that shit. No, I'm not buying you that rubbish for it. And I was like, oh. He goes, I'm going to get you some real music.
Real music.
Real music, And I'm waiting for him to buy me like some shitty, well, not shitty, but like, some guitar instrumental, Helicasters,
Yeah.
tape or something like that, which I probably would have enjoyed, but I wouldn't have been cool.
Yeah.
But he bought me the Dixie Chicks Wide Open Spaces, their first album.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of the Dixie Chicks, never heard of them. I'm like, well, it's 3 girls. Like, it's a fair,
Yeah.
And man, I listened to that tape so many times.
good.
Like, oh yeah. Dad did good. And like, I mean, that's a fantastic record.
Yeah.
And then the first CD I ever bought with my own money, that I had saved up, obviously, for my $5 a week or whatever it
Yeah.
was, pocket money, Hanson, middle of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
I was a very cool kid. No, but you know what? That, like, I still
what everyone listens
I
to.
listen to that CD to this day, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, to think that, like, they were so young.
Yeah.
And, like, they were the writers of all those songs, and they're fantastic. Like, they've got this really cool, like, Beach Boys influence, and it just you just think, oh my God, these kids are like 10.
Yeah.
I think Zach was like 6 or something, or maybe 8. But youngest ever Grammy winner.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There you
Zach
go, guys.
Hanson.
There's one
There
for
you
you.
go.
Next time you're at trivia night and it comes up.
No, well, I still listen to Hanson.
that's
They
interesting.
still put out music, right? And it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, they've really come into their own. They've got their own sound, and it's very like, it's a little bit Motown, it's a little bit rock, and it's so left field. And you think it'll be, you're like, oh, Hanson, that'll be lame, but fuck, man. They're all masters of their instruments. They're all fantastic writers. They've all got like 10 kids each, but they still get shit done. So.
Yeah. There you go. And probably a lot of money to boot.
Oh yes, they would definitely have a lot of money. Well, they wrote Mbop.
Yeah, so
Like,
it's not like they're giving their
they're not
their
like that's
royalties
the
to
thing.
anyone.
They get the money for that.
That's
So-
incredible. I figured that they must have just been a generic kind of like.
No, they wrote that shit, man. Like,
Well, that's so there.
fantastic songwriters. Like, if I could have written songs like that when I was 10, I'd be a millionaire now. I would not be on this show.
You wouldn't be here. You would not be here.
No,
You'd be with
no, I'd
Zane
be-
Lowe on
I'd
BBC
be
One.
Yeah,
That's what you'd
I was
be.
going to say like Kyle and Jackie O, but anyway.
No, you'd be bigger than that, mate.
Yeah,
You'd
yeah,
get interviewed by
yeah.
Zane Lowe on BBC One about the 15th anniversary of your song. Now, obviously, you've played a lot of shows, DJing, and obviously musically, Hinterland, plus all your covers. Do you have any favourite shows that really stick out for you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Opening for Jimmy Barnes and Troy Cassarelli last year was amazing. However, we weren't playing any original songs, so it does kind of make it lame in that sense.
But on the upside, everyone would have been singing.
Oh, everyone was vibing. Like,
Yeah.
we played Come On Eileen, and
Yeah.
it was manic. It was amazing. But probably my favourite gig ever was when I was on tour with my dad and my uncle in 2009, 2010. And as part of the tour, we all got booked to do the Carols. Is it Carols by Candlelight? Like it was on telly.
At the Domain.
I think it was that one.
big
It was
one.
one of them.
Yeah.
It's one of them, one of the big ones. And it was like live, televised to air on Channel 9
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve. And oh man, it was huge. So we did Jingle Bell Rock, and we'd we were playing with like this entire orchestra, and it was the coolest song of the night because at these carols things, a lot of the songs are the
a
Oh
bit more
Holy Night,
old and,
Silent Night. It's
Yeah.
those slow ones, and everyone in like the orchestra and the band and stuff, they even said to me, they're like, "Oh, we're so excited for your
Yeah.
song because it's upbeat,"
Yeah,
you know.
it brings it all back. And
And it was so massive. Like, it was such a huge crowd there. Again, not my song, but,
no, but still a big
I
moment.
love Christmas too, and I
Yeah.
love Christmas carols, and I just love the whole vibe of it. And it was just huge. And I met heaps of celebrities backstage who were on it with me. And yeah, like, it was amazing. It was I don't know how.
No, Christmas is a vibe. Don't you?
It's
don't need
such
to
a vibe.
explain.
I love Christmas. Well, I had a gig the other night, like a private party.
Yeah.
DJing, and they were like, my agent CC'd me in on an email, and she's like, "Sorry, babe," and then I've like scrolled down, and the client had said, "Oh, is it okay if she plays like half an hour of Christmas carols
Yeah.
for the start of the night?" Poor DJ, ha ha ha. And I'm like, this is a dream. I'm like, one, I don't have to think about what to play for half an hour.
Yeah.
And two, Christmas carols.
Yeah.
Like, so it was Mariah and your Bieber and Ariana Grande, like all their,
Yeah,
the cool
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
But man, that was sick. But yeah, that was by far my favorite gig. And it was one song. It was just smash it out, and it was so cool. And at the end, it was really cool because it was I changed the lyrics. And when I had the idea, I was a bit nervous about it. But I asked my uncle, I was like, "Is it okay if I sing this instead?" And he was like, mind blown.
What did you do? What was the change?
So it was at the end, it's, "That's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell rock." No. But I changed it to, "That's the jingle bell with 3 Emmanuels." Because it was me and
Yeah.
Phil and Tommy. And mate, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in the audience just
Loved
exploded. No, to be honest, I have no idea. But when I watch it back now, I owned it with such sass.
Yeah.
And people say it to me all the time. They're like, "That was so cool. I just didn't see that coming."
Yeah.
So it kind of was an original.
Yeah.
Because
It kind of was.
I rewrote a line. So
That's all right.
And no one else can ever do that.
No, they can't. And
But
also,
it was
live.
so cool. Yeah, live televised. Like it was just so cool.
My big
So
Christmas
very cool.
bang is Feliz Navidad. I think
Oh.
that's just such a jam.
That is a good one. That's I don't know if I wouldn't know. I wouldn't try and alter the lyrics to that one.
No.
But yeah, that was when I came up with that. Dad and Tommy were just like, "Holy!"
She's so
They were
really.
like, "That's so funny!" Like, because they love shit like
Yeah.
that. They love that. But yeah, that was the biggest and best gig. That was the most fun.
Yeah, that's
And it was on TV.
No,
Like,
definitely.
amazing.
Now, you've obviously been to a lot of gigs as well. Are
Mm-hmm.
there any gigs where you've seen artists or anyone play and you've just gone, "How good's this? Like, how good are
Oh,
they?"
so many.
Yeah.
Carrie Underwood was insane.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Holy shit, this bitch can sing." Carrie Underwood was the best. Zach Brown Band. I don't know if you're familiar with Zach Brown Band. They are really, really good. They're a country. They sing Chicken Fried.
Okay, yeah.
You know Chicken Fried,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so they're Chicken Fried, but they also sing several other amazing songs.
Yes.
My favourite gig that I've ever been to was CMA Fest, which is the biggest
Country music
festival in Nashville.
Right.
My husband and I went for our honeymoon in 2013, so it was like, I'm going to drop a bunch of names that you're not going to know, but Miranda Lambert, Blake
I
Shelton,
know both of those.
Zach Brown Band, Taylor Swift, Carrie Underwood,
I know her
Luke
too.
Bryan, the band Perry. Anyway, it was shit hot. It was amazing. It was the best. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
I was a bit against country for a long time when I was in the States last year a lot.
Well,
Wherever you'd be, like...
that's the thing. The States,
And it grew on me.
country is mainstream.
Yeah.
Like that was something I noticed because we went to Nashville first, and of course there's country music everywhere.
Yeah.
It's Nashville during CMA Fest time, of course, in their summer and everything. It's huge. But then we traveled to like LA, and like the radio everywhere was playing country music as well, and you're like, oh, so like country is like really cool.
Yeah,
over
it's like
here.
an actual genre there.
It's
not just
cool.
a
It's
like
not just in Australia. It's kind of lame.
Yeah.
If you do country music, it's like,
it's-
you're Slim Austrian, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
actually, no.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, so people just have in Australia in particular, we have a pretty limited view of country music, and it gets treated as kind of like a
Well, I think what it is
shitty
as well
genre.
is probably 80, or not even that, 70% of Australia all live on the coastline.
yeah.
So they're all in cities or all on the coast. Whereas
Yeah.
in America, it's all filled in.
That's true.
That
is
so
true.
the demographic is used to that.
Yeah, that's true. But it does come out, like, I mean, we've got the Gold Coast Groundwater Country Music Festival.
Yeah.
It is getting there. Like, there's quite a lot of country artists, like, on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane at the moment. So it's kind of becoming that a bit more of a home for it. But I just... What kind of annoyed me back in the day, and still does to this day, is that in Australia we kind of don't like an artist or respect an artist until they've broken in America.
Yes.
This is why like your Keith Urban is so big, and like
Yeah.
Morgan Evans and the McClimates were the same, you know. They were kick ass for so long and really, really great. And we were even kind of the same with Keith Urban. It was like, we're like, oh yeah, he's around, oh, he's country music. And then America's like, oh, we like this guy. And we're like, Keith Urban, he's Australian, oh, he's the best, we love him. And it's like,
Literally.
we're so fucking like, so just like, we're afraid to have our own opinions, you know.
No,
Shits
definitely.
me.
Oh.
So that's what
And
we've got
that's
to do.
why she didn't play the game.
Yes. And even now, I don't play the game very much, but it's working better now.
Yeah. You just...
People kind of like it now, I
Yeah.
think. And I think the music we're putting out is kick-ass enough that it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if we don't play the game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And all your life experience from everything you've done is now being put into that music.
Yeah.
You're not
well,
just a bit younger and kind of...
yeah. I don't know. I just like it more now. And even especially now, like that I'm writing again. Like I've just finished. Well, I'm in the middle of a job where I've been asked to write for an artist. So there's a new artist, a new singer who'll be putting out music next year, and she's very young. She's a great singer, and she's got a really great background, but she's not much of a writer.
Yeah.
So the producer was like, "Oh, can you like do some writing sessions with this girl and see if you can make some songs for her?" And I've just written a couple of songs for her, and they're kick ass, and it's going to be awesome.
That's
and
good.
I just like being, I'm like a bit of a hired gun now as a
Yeah.
writer. It's cool.
It's exciting.
Cool. And it is really cool. Hopefully, and hopefully it does well.
Even if it doesn't, it's still a great experience.
Yeah.
You're still getting paid.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true. But you get paid more if it does well.
You are-
Because that's the thing, as a writer,
Ooh, bop, bop, bop.
was that Mbop, was it?
Yeah, it was. It
That was
was.
very good.
That's-
Yeah. But yeah, so you get, as a songwriter, you don't get paid a fee up front.
I know, yeah. You get a
So you
percentage.
get the percentage of the royalties and all that sort of stuff. So if it doesn't do very well, it's only been a couple of hours of your time and whatever.
Yeah.
They've done all the hard work by going in and recording it and all that sort of stuff. But if it does really, really well, you'll get some royalties.
Yeah, it sounds
then-
very good.
No, you have to really you have to have, what is it, 0.004 cents a stream or something.
Yeah, I was looking into that the other day. It's just so sad, some of the statistics.
Songs I've written have had 500,000 streams, and
Yeah.
I've probably made $50.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I think the other day there was a song. It was, 4 million streams or 1 million streams, and I think they made 10 grand or something like that.
Yeah, Yeah. Yep. Go and buy the merch, everybody.
Yeah, buy the merch.
Buy the
Even they were
merch, buy
saying,
the
like,
CDs.
Yeah, they were literally saying that you're not making money off.
No, you
that
don't make
at
money
all.
off streams, but you got to have streams. You got to be on your streaming, like you do, as much as it is shit. But at the end of the day, it's not. You make the song and you can put it out there all you want. Musicians make money from their live performances, and selling merch and stuff like that. But live gigs is where it's at. Of course, that sucked during COVID,
Yes.
but that's why we put out a lot of content and a lot of music in COVID, because we were like, all right, let's get that shit out there and set ourselves up so that when it, disappears and things get back to normal, we've done that.
Yes.
And then we can just go, okay, as you can see, we've invested a lot into our music and our vibe, our product, our brand. So we want X amount of dollars.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, we can actually look impressive next year.
Yeah, definitely. Now, when you're listening to music by yourself, are there any songs that you kind of put on that really get you in the feels that are kind of you're just like...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wagon Wheel
Yeah?
is a vibe song for me. I know that's silly, but I think it's because it was one of my favourite songs. I mean, it's everyone's favourite song. But it was, I remember like it was really, really big. It was a really, really big hit for Darius Rucker when I was pregnant with my first daughter. And then we were like, I'd be playing it. Like I gigged up till I was like heavily pregnant.
Really?
Oh yeah, massive. You should see me. It looked hilarious, but because you could, like, it was like, no, I only work like 12 hours a week. Like it's not a big deal. So I was gigging, with her in my belly and everything, and that song, like when she was a baby.
Is this the one that's good at drums?
Drums, yeah. Musical. Yeah, well, I mean, both of them were in my belly when I was gigging.
That's a bit contradictory to our conversation.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. She was, just because she was there, she wasn't like listening in going, oh yeah, that's the snare, that's the hi-hat. She was too busy being a fetus, She was like, oh, whatever fetuses think.
Sure is wet in here.
She's like, I can't wait to plow through this vagina and just tear shit up.
Anyway, well,
Okay, so Wagon Wheel is special because when she was a baby, she was a horrid baby. She would scream and cry and carry on, and it was the biggest life ruiner.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And
Your first one?
My first one. I still went back for a second one, but the first one, she was just such a difficult baby, and she just screamed and cried. But Wagon Wheel would always sort of soothe her.
Oh, wow.
And literally, oh my God, I remember driving from the Gold Coast to Coffs Harbour to visit family one night, and she just screamed the entire drive. People are like, oh, she'll sleep in the car. No, she fucking won't. No, she doesn't. And the entire drive, she screamed. But we'd put Wagon Wheel on, and every now and then she'd be like, and I remember we listened to Wagon Wheel, we probably got his streams up.
7-hour drive.
Oh no, it's like 3.5, 4 hours with a baby. Yeah, probably 7 hours. But that's a special song for me. Which is funny because it is sort of a happy song and everything. It was also a really good friend of mine. I used to be in a duo called Check 1 2, a cover duo with a really good mate of mine named Andy, really talented musician. And he struggled with depression for many, many years. And he loved Wagon Wheel. That was his favourite song. Yeah. And he got up a couple of times and played it with the Daisy Dukes, and he loved the Daisy Dukes. And he was also right into his country and stuff like that. He's a real rock god, but he loved his country music. And unfortunately, he took his own life in 2017. Yep. And Rachel and I played Wagon Wheel at his wake type thing. I actually have a tattoo of a Wagon Wheel.
You might have to lift it up.
Oh, yep, sorry. There she is. But yeah, so for me, that's a song that it's really happy, but it does actually, for me, it holds a lot of sentimental value, I guess.
Definitely. It sounds like there's a few very...
There's definitely, I'm thinking about it. I'm that's up there with an important song. But yeah, I mean, in terms of songs that, No,
I think you've answered it perfectly.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Don't you worry one bit,
You're
darling.
wrap it up.
No. You've literally...
No, that's a poignant one for me.
Yeah.
That I caught on to later in life, though.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, probably 8 years ago or something.
No,
but
it's very important to have moments that songs mean for certain things.
Yeah, and even now we just play that song and it's fine and everything, but there has been times where it's like, you know, I'll tear up or something, just thinking of Andy or thinking of having a baby.
Now, what about at the moment? What do you listen to right now?
I'm listening to a lot of Maren Morris. Love Maren Morris. Don't know her?
No.
She's a big country artist
Yes.
in America. I'm really enjoying Miranda Lambert. She's always been one of my favourite singers. In terms of I love Dua Lipa as well. You'll know her, hopefully. Love Dua Lipa. Like, she's just such a game changer. I love everything she does. Like, I really like disco music as well.
Yep.
Like, I love Casey and the Sunshine Band and all that sort of stuff, like the 70s type vibes. Like, just love that. And I feel like she's sort of bringing that disco vibe in a little bit, which is awesome. Anything that sort of just pushes the boundaries, I guess,
sure.
and, you know, blends genres in any way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just listening. Like, if Spotify, when Spotify makes you like daily mixes, the people who make it must be like, what the fuck? Like, they must get very confused with mine. Because then on the other hand, it's like my kids always want to listen to like, you know, no. No, Miranda's favorite band is Queen. She loves Queen, which I don't mind listening to a bit of Queen. Juliet likes ABBA. Gimme Gimme is her favorite song. So, I mean, it's not too bad. And then everybody, we all like Michael Jackson as well. So that's all good. But yeah, it's funny. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
I tend to listen to a lot of old stuff. Yeah. But I like to listen to fresh stuff to hear what's trending and what's going on.
With the kids these days?
What are the kids listening to?
Now, if we were going to go out to your car right now, turn your car on, what comes on? Are you putting your phone in? Is the radio on?
It'd be a Hamish and Andy podcast.
Oh, perfect.
No, I actually listen to a lot of, I like to listen to their podcasts and other podcasts and stuff, because so much of my job is music and listening to music and studying music and everything. And it actually is hard to switch it off. Like
100%.
it does, like my husband, I do his head in because I'll be like, we'll be just vibing. We'll be like by the pool, like chilling out or something, and there'll be music on in the background and I'll just like tune out and he'll be like looking at me like, what? And then I'll be like, oh my God, that chorus was so shit. Or did you hear that lyric? That was so like predictable. Or I'd be like, oh, that was a really cool key change. And he'll be like, what? Like, I think I just hear music a little bit differently. I sort of deconstruct it. I analyze it. It's very hard for me to just sit back and enjoy it if it's something new.
Yes.
If it's something I've heard a million times, I'm just enjoying it. But if it's something I'm just sort of hearing for the first time or the first couple of times, especially if it's like in my realm of, you know, writing or something, I'll be like, just switch off. And so I try not to do that too much in the car because I'm supposed to be driving. So try not to listen to too much music in the car.
I'm very much the same. My friends always give me so much crap. I get in, it's like AM radio.
Yeah.
I'm really like listening to talk back.
Yeah, I like listening to the talking. Like it's funny. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do love Hamish and Andy. Your lookalike, of course.
Yeah, shout out. If there are any Andys out there, give me a holler.
But no, they're just so funny, and I just like the comedy, like the selfless comedy, and just like the fact that they don't offend anybody. You know, it's so hard. Like in this day and age, everyone's offended by something, but they don't have to like put people down.
Yeah,
they just,
you're right. They're very
it's just like so lighthearted and it's stupid shit, but it's funny and you're just like, and because you feel like you know them a little bit. Like,
well, they have been around for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And I've only really been listening to them for a few years. Like, I caught on. I really liked when they did the Cool Boys and the Frontman.
I'm not sure. No.
So their last year or so, they decided to form a band, which was the two of them plus Jack, their like technician guy. And they toured Australia and they would play one song, which was We Are the Champions, to varying degrees of success. And they would bring a front man. So it was like they had like Ricky Lee for one. I think Vance Joy did one. Like they got like real singers to come and perform with them. And it was a really cool journey to hear them like learning the songs and stuff like that. And I don't know, it was just so funny.
Just random.
So funny. And nobody got hurt or offended. It was beautiful.
Now, if you had to listen to one song for the rest of your life and you could not listen to anything else, what would it be? Oh, have
Sorry?
we finally stumped her?
Yeah, is she finally going to shut up? Michael Jackson.
Yes.
I'm trying to narrow it down. Probably Michael Jackson, maybe Smooth Criminal.
Yeah.
Only because I think every time you listen to that song, you can find something new about it.
Oh, wow.
It's got so many layers, like to the production and the vocals and just everything about that song. And I think also when you listen to it, you can't help but visualize the video clip too.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, good for the senses or
Yeah.
whatever. But I just find every time I listen to that song, I'm like, oh, I've never noticed that little, like, there's just so many different layers to it in terms of all the different vocals and different percussive parts and then synth parts and all sorts of shit that you're just like, you don't, when you listen to a song as a whole, you're like, yeah, this sounds great. But then
Yes.
you listen to it and you're like, you can just even imagine, like, I don't know what program they would have used back then. It's probably not Pro Tools, but you can just imagine like the screen and how many lines there would have
Oh,
been.
the layers would have been
Oh,
ridiculous.
hundreds, right?
Yeah.
And I can just really appreciate that there was so many sub melodies and
Yeah.
bits and pieces going on in that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. No.
I'm gonna lock that in.
Yeah, lock that in.
Lock it
Eddie.
in,
Lock
Eddie.
it in, Eddie. Sweet as.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have been working obviously really hard during COVID with Hinterland. We won't talk about your DJing right now because I know your passion lies in Hinterland. Where do you guys see yourself as a brand, as an artist, as a group in, say, the next year? What are you striving towards?
Well, we just dropped our first EP because we weren't going to drop an EP because we'd recorded 2 songs, then we recorded a third song.
And video clips.
And 3 video clips.
which are
My
all pretty
God,
cool.
They're all sick,
Yeah.
right? Like, they're all so cool. And we had so much fun doing it all. And it was only because, like, we dropped the first song and it did so well, we were like, oh, shit, better pump out the second song.
Yeah.
And that one did really well, too. And then I had written what would now be our third song, Loud, and it was so kick-ass. So we were like, let's get this out too. And we just, because it's so hard when you record and when you write music. It's often like 2 years before
The song comes out.
Before it comes out, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted to get it out. Like, I didn't want to. Oh, sorry, am I boring
No,
you?
I'm sorry. See, I don't have mumina.
You don't have mum stamina.
Mum stamina.
Yes, I've got it. I'm made of it. But
I'm such an asshole.
no, that's fine. It's so fine.
One late night. One late night.
One late night and one sort of early mid-afternoon morning.
Fair.
Oh dear. So yeah, I'd say in the next year we'd really like to, be working on an album, if not have an album out.
Yeah.
But it is such a long process and an
Yeah.
expensive process too, because
Yeah.
that's the thing is, you can do it on the cheap. You can do it, you
Yeah,
can
in
just
here.
do it. I
Yeah.
could just do it in here. No
Yeah.
offense, but we kind of go with. We want to make sure everything we put out is
100%.
really high standard. So that's kind of been a part of our brand, is that we want to look and sound as good as like the American
Yeah.
country music. Like I want our video clips to come on, because there is some seriously like budget looking and
Yeah.
budget sounding music that gets played. In the country music scene, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily bad songs though. Just
No.
you can just tell they maybe didn't have a huge budget or whatever, especially
Yeah.
during COVID. But we were just like, no, we're always going to make sure everything is like a really high quality. And we want to be able to compete with the American market.
Yeah.
And really like, so we'll stand out in the Australian market.
Yeah. And also when it comes on, someone doesn't notice the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They'll go, oh yeah, cool. And it's like, but really we just recorded it here on the Gold Coast, like, in a local studio or something, but we just made sure it looks and sounds, hella good.
Yeah, perfect. Now, let's say you were put on Triple J one day and they said, look, we want you for like a version. Mm-hmm. What
Ooh.
song would you guys cover?
Well, we did do, on our EP, we did a cover of Avicii's Wake Me Up,
Oh, yes. Yep.
which is really cool, like with the fiddle playing, the whole part and everything like that. But I guess like a version is more like making it,
Your own.
rather
Yeah.
than kind of just playing it exactly how it is, but, it's your own thing. So let's go. This is a good one.
Hanson.
Yeah, our own arrangement of Hanson. No, we'd probably go for something really weird. We'd probably go, like, people would be like, oh, okay. I mean, we do try to keep our covers sort of close to home.
Yes.
Close to what the original was. But, shit, that's very cool. I mean, I guess you want to go for something that's going to be well-received and popular and stuff like that. I mean, I would like us to do a cover of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. You know, that dun, 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 dun. I'd like to hear that on the violin.
That'd be wild on the violin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be sick.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to convince Rachel to do that, but, you know, she's busy.
Yeah.
So that would be a cool, you know, and it's a, ooh, I'm blinded by the light.
See, you could do it here. You could record your whole album.
We could do the whole
guitar.
thing. Bang, that's it. That'd be a cool one.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favourite song in the world or anything,
No, but it'd be fun, like you said.
Well, because when you do like a version, you want to do something that's like, people aren't going to be like, oh yeah, I can imagine that with an acoustic guitar and a chick singer and a violin. Like, so you don't want to be like, oh yeah, okay, they're going to do the Cause or the Dixie Chicks. Like,
Yes.
duh. Duh, you know. But we also do a really kick-ass cover of Sam Sparro, Black and Gold.
Yeah.
Where Rachel like shreds for like the last 3 minutes.
Really?
Like for no reason. She just improvises and just shreds. Because it's a really simple grooving chord. And it's actually like, I really like that song.
Yeah.
Like it's just a really cool chord pattern and a really cool melody. And then, yeah, Rachel just shreds at the end. But
Yeah, lovely.
that would be up there too.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Fellow
perfect.
Australian musician as well, Sam Sparro.
It's very true. Mm-hmm. Now, if you could sit down and have dinner with 3 people, anyone, alive, dead, musical, influential, political, whatever, who would they be?
Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Yes. Probably Miranda Lambert.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favourites. Oh, and I want to say someone cool who's not in music, like so I sound like worldly and whatnot. But I probably won't. Oh shit. Can it be like from like
Anybody.
Okay, all right. Eddie Murphy.
Oh, wow.
But
when he released
when he
Delirious.
did Raw.
Oh,
I
when
want
he did
raw Eddie Murphy, right?
Okay.
Not 22-year-old, but
Yeah.
like raw.
Yeah.
I would have Eddie Murphy raw era, Michael Jackson bad era,
Yeah.
Miranda Lambert whatever era.
That's such a great twist on the question. Everyone else has just said it, but I'm so down with that. Because you're right, you want them at their peak.
Yeah, I don't. I'd like. Yeah, that's. I don't want to talk to Eddie Murphy now. Like, oh, how funny was Dr. Dolittle? Like, was
But
that
like,
fun?
But it
Like,
was still a good movie. Like,
it was still a good
Yeah.
movie.
Like,
but I want him.
But I get you. You
like,
want him when he's still like
yeah.
a bit naughty,
Or,
breaking the rules,
actually,
hanging out with Prince.
Maybe
like,
Dave Chappelle.
Oh.
Ooh, and Dave Chappelle could be any era, but
Well,
preferably Chappelle.
Dave
show.
Chappelle could also play Prince, like he does. You could have the best of both worlds.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Chappelle show. Yeah, all right. So we've got Dave Chappelle as well.
Okay,
He's
so
in
it's
there
4
as
at the
well.
table. We'll
yeah,
pick a
sorry.
seat.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'll stand up.
You'll serve them. I'll cook dinner. I'll cook.
I'll cook.
Oh, now, is there anything coming up for Hinterland? What have you got on the horizon? What's happening?
We do have a gig at Fisho's in a couple
lovely.
of weeks, depending on when this airs. It's on the 20th of December.
Yeah, it should be right.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're playing at Fisho's on the 20th of December. Legit, like a free show.
Yeah.
Just the whole band. Should be cool because it's like the last Sunday sesh before Christmas.
Oh,
so
get down there.
It's always packed at Fisho's,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's always amazing. So I think that's at 1:30 or something. And yeah, full band show at Fisho's. What a vibe. And we have booked a festival for like the end of next year, like October next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really hoping to. It's hard to establish a band, an originals band, having already been like covers band, because when you're originals band, you want to charge a lot more money because
Yes.
you're offering a different product. You're offering
Yes.
something way better. But when a lot of local agents are like, oh, well, we can get the Days and Dukes for X amount, and it's like, well, you kind of can't.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be Hinterland, it wouldn't be this
No.
product. But yeah, so I think until shit gets sorted with COVID and the
Yeah.
restrictions and the no dancing and whatever, because
Yeah.
festivals and stuff, festivals is where we want to be.
Yeah.
But festivals are a bit up in the air at the
Yeah.
moment. So we're just chilling and writing and playing a few local gigs here and there while we can.
Yeah.
And yeah, because there's not a great deal of band gigs going at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if we want to do a great deal of touring, but we want to hit festivals
Yeah, definitely.
one day.
That's exciting times. It's
Hopefully.
really exciting. Now, where can they catch you? What are all your socials? What are all your...
We're on Instagram at Hinterland Band AU. I'm pretty sure our Facebook is facebook.com/Hinterland Band AU.
Yeah. Spotify?
Yeah, Spotify. I don't know, search Hinterland.
No
I
special
guess.
spelling?
No,
Just say it as it is.
HINTLAND, no hashtags,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. No HNTRLN.
No, yeah, that's right. No, it's just the basic white spelling of
Yeah.
Hinterland. So go and stream us if you like. And we're on YouTube as well. We've got a YouTube channel. It's probably youtube.com/hinterlandbandau, where you can check out all our cool video clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which have been pretty cool. I've checked out.
They have.
checked
They're
them
all
out.
on CMT, which means, they're on television and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Very
Which is what you
nice.
want.
100%. Now, do you have any advice for any upcoming young artists or
Yes.
people trying to get into the industry?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that because the girl that I've been working with, like what we were talking about before, who I'm just working with as a writer, but she reminds me a lot of me when I was younger as well. So she's like early 20s, and she has like, and I don't mean this in a bad way. This is her words. Yeah. She has no idea
Yeah, no
what
one
to do.
does.
She has all this
At
talent.
20, yeah.
She has all this talent, but she doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So my advice is to just chill, just be talented.
Yeah.
Don't put out everything you do.
Okay.
This is something that does my head in because you only have one chance to make a good impression, a first impression.
Yes.
And I made a lot of bad first impressions.
Okay.
Probably still do. Give less shits now, but
Yeah.
back in the day it mattered. But yeah, so a lot of people just, like for me, for example, I filmed a video clip when I was like 18, 19, and it was like a local dude who worked for like Channel 7, and
Yeah.
he was like, I'll do a video clip for you. And I was like, yeah, okay. He's like, I'll do it for cheap or whatever. And it ended up costing me as much as which is like $4,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm a kid. I don't have
Yeah.
that. But only because what he gave me when I had only paid like $1,500 or something was shit.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, is this it?
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't do my research. I was just like, yeah, cool. Someone's offering to do something
Yes.
for me. And after a while, it just wasn't getting much better.
Yeah.
And it was just like, fuck, now I've invested so much money in. I guess I just put it out.
Yeah.
And that was my first video clip, my first song. And it was rubbish. I look back at it now and I'm like, oh my God, how embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all make mistakes like that. But yeah, just don't be in a huge rush to put anything and everything out there,
Yeah.
even content and stuff like that. You got to think about who's going to see that, what people are going to think.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a firm believer that content is like
Quality over quantity.
quality over quantity
yeah,
is exactly right. But yeah, there's definitely a huge belief among the industry that you should just be posting constantly everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I'm just going to get a coffee here and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no one gives a shit. No one. Yeah, you look at actual like big successful celebrities, they're not posting like
No.
that because they're too busy doing shit.
Yes.
And if you're just posting, oh, hey guys, just checking in, and like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, just don't put out everything,
Yeah.
every thought that you
Leave
ever
a bit of
had.
mystery.
Leave a bit of mystery. You look more successful
Yeah.
and more talented when you don't share everything you do and then you come out with something kick-ass.
Yeah.
People just go, what? I had no idea she was doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, hey guys, I'm just doing this, I'm just doing that, blah, blah, blah. By the time you put it out in a year and a half's time when it's finished, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm serious.
I love this. This is my favorite.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously post your content and stuff like that, but don't just post something for the sake of posting it. It's got to be interesting. It's got to be, and I'm not even just talking about like a photo on Instagram. I'm talking about a song. I'm talking about like anything.
Yeah.
Anything you're going to put out there.
Have context.
Have context. Have something actually, like, it does my head in when you see people and they post a photo. It's a bikini photo or if it's just any photo, and then it's got a dumb caption, and you're just like,
I do a few of those.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No, I
but-
mean like the bikini photo.
Yeah, bikini photo. I would actually like to see that. But no, like just for the sake of like, oh yeah, just going to stay relevant and stuff. And like, those
Yeah.
people still follow you.
Yeah, I
They're not
noticed it.
sitting there going, oh, I wonder what such and such is thinking at the moment. Like, they don't care. It's all right. They're not going to, like, it's all good.
Yeah.
And then once you do something, once you have something to share, once you have something of value
Yes.
to share with the world, let's hear it.
Yeah.
But I don't care what you're doing on your day in your day-to-day life if it's not actually
I noticed
interesting.
it during COVID a lot. It's like people weren't sharing stuff to do with their careers or like things they've
No.
been working on. It was just that.
Well, I
kind of
mean, maybe they
content.
weren't doing anything, and that's fine.
No, and that's what obviously
Yeah.
is happening.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all good.
Mm.
Like, that's fine. But, you know, COVID was actually a really good opportunity to get shit done.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
like-
I found it I found like the first 3 months, it gave me like the break that I haven't had for like 9 years.
Same here.
And then I was like,
Then I was like, okay, let's
oh,
go.
wait, I love all of this stuff so much. I can get back into making music and doing things because I felt like I don't know, just
You felt the vibe again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I so agree.
Yeah.
So agree.
Like,
but
at the
it was
start,
nice
it
for a
was-
break.
Yeah, it was
Definitely nice for a break.
And then when it got to maybe the third month of it being like a Friday and me being like, usually I'd be at a gig now.
Yeah. Did you get
Saturday-
some sleep?
Yeah, it was great.
Wasn't it
It
beautiful?
was great. And then even, the Saturday would come and then the Sunday and I'd be like, usually by now I would have played like 4 or 5 gigs.
Yeah.
And then I found all this energy that I could put in other places.
That's
I was
right.
like,
Yep, it was definitely...
just building up that mamana. That's what I'm doing.
Yes. One day, grasshopper.
Very nice. Well played. Well, Jessie, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
My pleasure.
It's been a blast. I really enjoyed hearing about, because obviously I only know you now. I don't
Yeah.
know about the come up.
I know. Well, I mean,
Now,
yeah.
one question I do have.
Yeah.
Is that original video you did out
Oh,
on
yeah.
the World Wide Web anywhere?
It might be. It's not on any of my pages, but I mean, it might be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Yeah, nice. Now,
But it was on telly,
Oh, there you go.
which is not a good thing, because as like I'm sure people saw it and went, "What the fuck is this?" And then they would go, "Oh, well, I'm not going to have any respect for that person because that's what they put out." But I had to because I was like, "Well, I've spent so much bloody money on it now."
Yeah.
But anyway, lesson learned.
Lesson learned, and now you guys have learned
Now
that
we
lesson.
have kick-ass videos.
Yes. And they are actually really cool. The production value's sick.
Mm.
It's what are the odds of it being called Hinterland out in the Hinterland?
I know.
Actually, a few more questions. Sorry, guys. You had to carry all the equipment to these areas, didn't you, to film?
So first video clip was in my backyard.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
Could literally just like reverse the ute
Yes.
up to. It was still a mission though. Like we had to
Yeah.
get a trailer and all this. So it was a huge stage and it was a shit ton of lighting and like.
And even though she says it's just her backyard, it still looks
Oh,
unbelievable.
it's an acre block.
Yeah, it's not like...
You know, it's out in the hinterland. But yeah, like that wasn't too bad. It was a 2-day setup and a 2-day pack down.
Yes.
Yeah, with basically the staging and all that sort of stuff. But the second video, Turbulence, was at a place called White Rock,
Yes.
which is, I'm guessing, is the one you're talking about.
Yes.
In like Ipswich or something, and it's like a national reserve park or something. And we literally rode push bikes 7 kilometers out, like in the bush, like off road.
Yeah.
And like my bike was fucked too, so like it was really hard. And then you get to like kind of like a set of stairs, you climb the stairs, then you literally have to like rock climb and like actually a big ass rock surrounded by other rocks, vertical, and you have to climb up this rock. It's not, I mean, I don't know if you're even allowed to do it, but we did it. Which is hard enough, except that we also had a drone camera, some other camera, guitars, a violin, backpacks with our makeup, shoes and stuff like that. All that shit. Get it up, climb up a rock, and then
Set it up.
set it all up. And then we filmed one scene from a 3-scene, 3-minute video. So yeah, it was hectic. I mean, it was such a great scene. It was so worth it.
You guys definitely check it out because then
Yeah.
you can kind of hear the story behind it.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. And it looks effortless. It looks beautiful and chic
Yeah.
and I mean we're all fashionable, we all look fabulous and everything. But yeah, it was a mission. It was literally like rock climbing and bike riding and then doing our makeup on a rock with no mirrors. and then and then performing on top of this, well, like in your phone,
Yeah.
like, I hope this looks good. And then, we were out on this rock. It was like, oh gosh, a few hundred meters, a couple of 100 meters above sea level or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was really high. And we're on
so
top of
good.
it, and then there's a drone camera flying around, and anyway, sick. Totally sick.
So guys,
much better than my first video.
Much better. So make sure you check out that video because you have now heard the story behind it,
Yes.
and it's so funny. I can't remember. I think you might have put a post up, or I might have seen a story or something where it was like on the Hinterland, maybe Instagram, where like you're literally like climbing up and someone's passing a guitar.
Yeah, it was in our
Like,
story. Yeah, that was like the bitchest lug ever. Like, we that was afterwards, and we were handing everything down. It was like a down a chain, so it was like Robbie would go down, then Rachel, and it was like, okay, you pass me this, and we'd pass, thousands of dollars worth of musical equipment and film equipment down this rock.
It really would have been good to capture that content to be a part of the video clip. You could have done it like
a behind
what
the
really
scenes.
goes on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That video looks so glamorous
Yeah.
and so like beautiful and everything, but it was hectic.
Oh, lovely. Well, like I said, Jess, thanks heaps for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Is there anyone you want to thank for everything you've done so far? Anyone you want to say hello to?
I'm gonna pull a Snoop Dogg and say thanks to me. No. I'm joking. No, obviously thank you to Rachel and Rob, my besties and my musical partners in crime, and for putting up with me for such a long time. And I guess I should probably thank my husband.
Yes.
For raising my children while I've been busy making music, and just being an all-around good guy. It was our 15-year anniversary the other day.
Oh,
Like, isn't that funny?
that's wild.
Like, what the fuck? Well, it just sounds really funny that we've been together 15 years. So go us. And thank you for
For
not
those out there that don't
finding
think that a
anybody better.
relationship can survive while one of you is in entertainment industry.
Yeah, well, I think it's because he was there before. Like, he's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how easy it would be if you're already established and they come in because it's a really weird lifestyle. They'd be
Yeah.
like, "What?"
Yeah.
But we've been together since we were kids, so he's sort of seen it come up and everything, and he understands. And he used to come to my gigs all the time.
Yeah.
But he can't do it now. He's got to stay home and look after the kitties. But he gets so much sleep. Must be nice.
Must be nice. No, unreal. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
I hope you had fun.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, I hope you all make sure you check out Hinterland.
Yeah.
And also maybe, actually, one more.
Oh.
So, if you do jump on Jessie's Instagram, there's a photo of her, I think, dressed as like a giant seahorse.
Yeah. Yes.
So I wanted to ask how long the makeup took and all that for.
Not long at all.
It was for like a Halloween
It was for
spectacular.
SeaWorld. So I was hired to DJ for SeaWorld for their October, what was it called? Spooky Nights.
Yeah.
So it was like White Christmas but for Halloween.
Yeah.
And because it was very much targeted at like young children. It wasn't super scary. It was more like mermaids and pirates and it was cute. But literally like I went there for the dress rehearsal like a few days before and they'd made me this costume. I had no idea it was going to be quite so extravagant. And it was, it's a pair of tights, heels, shoe covers, like a dress thing over the top that went over my head, like the material went over my head and then it was a wig on top and then this huge fuck off headpiece that was like, I don't know how high, really uncomfortable. And the first night I was like, I can't wear headphones with this thing on my head. And they're like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I can't. And they're like, do you need them? I'm like, to DJ? Yeah, you do need headphones. I mean, I know I'm just mixing for a bunch of kids, but the parents are there.
Yeah.
They might want to hire me for their... whatevers. So anyway, I DJ'd the shit out of it. I was so good. Like it was really like super commercial. The kids are cooler than we think they are. So they liked a lot of top 40 stuff and but anyway, in the end I had to use like in-ears. Which I already had, but that was one of the more interesting get-ups. But I reckon all in all, to get it all on and then paint my face and all that sort of stuff, maybe like half an hour.
Oh wow,
wasn't much.
Like the reason I bought it
because I did like 10. So
I feel like it's like Circus LA level. That's how wild the outfit was. Like that was the extreme it went to.
Yeah. Well, it was mostly just that. Like the only thing you could see really was my face, and then to do like the dots and all
also,
that.
they didn't just.
Yeah, they should have. It looked painted on, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no, that's so good.
It was definitely
I just
fun.
thought, guys, if you're on our Instagram, check that out because that is some
That's going to be the
content.
one that stands out.
Yeah.
Like if you check out my Instagram, you're going to be like, scroll. Oh, that I didn't see that video
Actually
clip.
wears that for every gig now.
Yeah. If you pay me enough, I'll yeah.
Now, make sure you check out Hinterland. Check out DJ Little J if she's playing anywhere because it's quite funny. How
My personal Instagram is at Jessie Jesse making music. By the way, Jessie making music. That's what I do.
It's where she makes music. Now, once again, guys, thanks heaps for tuning in today. Jessie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Have a lovely rest
Do
of the
I
day.
call you shit? Or do you get that?
Sometimes. It's only when people are yelling at me for not playing WAP.
Why are you not playing WAP?
It's just not really, I don't think it's my brand. It's not suitable for, yeah, like I get it.
Yeah, I know. I totally get it. I love that song. I do.
Anyway, have a lovely day, guys. Enjoy.
Yeah.
It's been Jessie. It's been great learning about you. And yeah, have a great rest of the day. See you guys.
Thanks, see ya.
Bye.